So, you want to buy some stage lights. Maybe you're like, okay, I got to buy a bunch of LED parts. I got to buy some moving lights. I got to buy a console. How in the world do you choose what to buy? That's what I want to talk about this month. So this month, or this playlist, if you're catching us later here on YouTube, that's me, David from Learn Stage Lighting, sorry I forgot to introduce myself, and you are going to explore how to buy lights. Because ultimately, when you're buying lights, whether it's for yourself, your band, your DJ company, your church, a production company, when you go to buy lights, especially if you're making a bigger purchase, but even if you're making a bunch of small purchases over time, the way you choose what to buy and the way that you come to that price and eventually buy something can ultimately determine whether you waste $50,000 or not. Did I catch your attention? That's right. Now, this is an old adage, the $50,000 mistake, that is a story that I hear a lot from people that install lighting systems. And the reason why I think we see this big number and hear this adage from people who install systems is simply because when you're installing a whole AV system, you're at one time often making a lump purchase where you're buying all the things, right? From, consoles to cabling to lights, everything all in one fell swoop. Whereas, someone doing live events, productions, whatever, you will buy things in batches, right? But whether you buy things in batches, $1,000 or $10,000 at a time, or whether you drop, $50,000 or $100,000 or more on an installation, the concept's still the same. Okay? So what is the $50,000 mistake? Well, it kind of goes like this, okay? When I talk to people that design AV systems and install them, though this applies across the board to live productions, anything else, they talk about, and there's actually a whole piece written up somewhere online that talks about the 3 sound systems that a church buys. And it's an older piece, so they talk about sound systems. Because if you think about it, 20, 30 years ago, every church in America had a sound system probably, but they didn't all have lighting systems. Now it's more common to see more lighting, but anyways, the analogy's the same. They say basically the first sound system is, hey, we asked our buddy here what we should get, our buddy, the worship leader, and this applies outside of the church. And he told us to get this, we got it, we installed it, we were unhappy. It cost us $15,000, right? Or maybe, no, it cost us, I think the first one cost $5,000, right? And then, 2 years later, we didn't like it. We tore it out and sold it for, next to nothing. And, next we called, okay, we know someone who's a computer professional and they know something about this stuff. And they gave us a system that was, say $20,000. Okay, now we spent $25,000 and a few years later, we're unhappy, we tear it out, right? Then they say the third sound system is where you actually reach out to someone who designs sound systems. Sure, their system's going to cost $25,000, but once it's installed right and set up and everything, and there's some training, the results are spectacular. And so the analogy there, independent of those exact numbers, is when you're buying lighting, please, I urge you, and I'm going to talk more about this throughout the month, is to look wisely at what you're going to buy and really figure out, before you just go and buy something, figure out what it is you actually need. Okay? How in the world do you determine this? Obviously, what I do here on Learn Stage Lighting, and one of my biggest goals with this website, YouTube channel, and everything else that we do, is to help people buy the right thing the first time. Because so often I see someone, either they see something, maybe in an article, that this big production used this light, and they say, well, then I need that light, right? Or maybe they go, okay, we talked to a guy we know, a lighting designer, and he said that they use this product all the time where he works, and so it would be the best thing for us. Sure, we don't do the kind of events this guy does, but it must be perfect. Let's go buy 20 of them, right? And it's not to say that asking for a professional's advice isn't right. Oh, of course, get the advice of professionals. But there are a couple really key things that you need to look at and you want to look at when you're purchasing lights to make sure you're not making a $50,000 mistake, right? Because I could budget all day long and I help organizations and individuals help them to find the right lighting that they need all the time, right? And if I have an extra $50,000, yeah, I'll find a way to spend that for them, right? That's pretty easy. And so the biggest thing and the first thing that you really want to look for when you're talking about what lights should I buy is, okay, what type of lights do I need and how many approximately do I need to make my purpose happen, whatever your purpose is. Are you lighting a band on a particular size stage? Are you lighting a worship service which needs to be lit for camera for the live stream and also for the people in the room? Are you lighting maybe a hybrid TV, live type event? Those have become very popular. Whatever it is you're lighting, the very first thing to do before you buy anything is to figure out what your goal for that purchase is, okay? Because when you figure out your goal for that purchase, you then can go backwards from there and start to figure out, okay, what products would fit that purchase, okay? And as you do that, you can then ask those experts for advice, talk to people, read things online, look at websites, do something like a lot of my Learn Stage Lighting Lab students do, which is they ask us in the forums, that's myself and JP, our community manager, hey, I was thinking about buying this, does it look like it should meet my needs based on what I already have or not? And we let you know. But ultimately, the first step to finding the right thing for you is not to look for the cheapest light, right? Not necessarily to just go blindly with the recommendation that someone you knew or somebody knew recommended, but to really take the time to really figure out what the right solution is for your needs. And when you do that, then you're able to go ahead and instead of throwing 50 grand down the drain, you now know what it is you need and can get the right thing first. And so this is the crux of this message and the crux of this concept is that I never want you to buy lighting. I never want you to buy equipment that you don't need, right? Because ultimately, when you buy something that you don't need, you're starving budget away from something that you do need. And so if you go and buy something that you don't need first, and then later you need something else, you're like, well, I only have half of my budget left now to buy this need. Sure, I bought this thing that is not really what I need. And now I have, something that I need. Maybe you need a good wash fixture. And you're looking at different LED wash fixtures, with color mixing and zoom and stuff. And you go, well, my initial budget left me enough room to get a nice unit with zoom that I needed, that I'd really like. But my current budget does not allow that, right? So at the end of the day, what I want to leave you with is this. When you're looking to buy lights, it doesn't matter what the application, doesn't matter who the manufacturer is, etc. You first want to figure out what your needs are and what products would potentially serve that need and what they cost, okay? Failure to do this is often going to mean that you're going to be like countless bands, churches, production companies that I've seen where they've got a whole back area in their shop or a closet that has a bunch of stuff that they bought and never really got to use. And I hate that for people. And next week, I'll be back and we're going to talk about how to budget for stage lights so you can see what it actually costs to buy a light. So you can then know and begin to estimate what it's going to cost and be able to have an accurate representation. So, whatever context you're in, you get the right budget and you get it done. So, if you liked this video, be sure to subscribe here, give this video a big thumbs up, check out the rest of the videos that we're going to have this month, which you'll get if you subscribe. Also, grab my free guide to beginning with lighting. If you're not sure what your needs are with lighting, this is an excellent place to start, and I've got that guide for you at learnstagelighting.com. Just click here on the screen, you'll be sent right there. Awesome. I'll see you guys there. Thanks.